Have you ever wondered why some people carry an unseen weight on their shoulders? No matter how hard they try, blessings seem delayed, opportunities slip away, and invisible chains hold them back. What if I told you that there are ancient practices, simple yet powerful, that can break those unseen chains instantly? Tonight, I want to show you how one humble leaf, burned at the right moment, can shatter curses, dissolve witchcraft, and open the flow of abundance back into your life. When we speak about the power of midnight, it is important to understand that this hour holds a very different quality than any other moment of the day. Most people think of it simply as late at night, but in reality, midnight is the gateway between endings and beginnings. It is the hour where one day dies and another is silently born. And in this transition, the world itself becomes still. The noise of life, the rush of people, the chaos of routine, all of it falls silent. It is in that silence where the unseen forces of nature are amplified, and your spirit can access energies that are not available during the business of the day. When you sit in the stillness of midnight, you are no longer distracted by the weight of society. Your thoughts are sharper, your breath is deeper, and your awareness expands. This is why ancient traditions always pointed toward midnight as a sacred hour. It is not superstition, it is alignment. The body is relaxed, the mind is slower, and the spirit becomes more open. Whatever intention you place at that time does not just linger in your imagination. It travels, it penetrates the unseen realms, and it is received with far greater strength. Think about this during the day. The mind is constantly bombarded with interruptions, worries, conversations, and noise. Try to set an intention at that time, and it often gets drowned out by all the distractions. But at midnight, there are no interruptions. There is no demand for your attention. That is when the whispers of your soul can be heard most clearly. That is when the energy of your prayer, your ritual, or your meditation carries the most weight. This is why when you choose to burn a bay leaf at midnight, the act itself does not happen in isolation. It is supported by the silence of the universe, magnified by the energy of transition, and infused with the raw power of intention. The energy of fire, combined with the stillness of the midnight hour, creates a sacred space that is undeniable. Fire consumes, transforms, and releases. Midnight provides the stage where this transformation is not just symbolic, but deeply energetic. The flames become more than flames. They become a bridge between what you are letting go of and what you are calling into your life. You are not just burning a leaf. You are burning limitations, burning fears, burning the invisible chains that tried to hold you. There is a reason why those who align themselves with this moment often find that breakthroughs happen suddenly, opportunities open unexpectedly, and burdens feel lighter overnight. It is not because of luck. It is because they learn to work with the rhythm of life, not against it. Midnight is the hidden doorway most people ignore. Yet those who understand it know that when they step through that doorway with clarity, their entire life begins to shift. When we look at the bay leaf, most people see only a small green leaf often used in cooking. But hidden within this leaf is a history stretching back thousands of years. Across cultures, traditions, and rituals, it was never seen merely as a flavor for food. It was considered sacred, a leaf of victory, a leaf of purification, a leaf of protection. In ancient times, leaders, healers, and spiritual seekers all recognized its symbolic power. Wreaths of bay leaves crowned those who achieved greatness, not simply as decoration, but as a declaration of triumph over obstacles. This tells us that the bay leaf was always more than just nature. It was a reminder of victory, of cleansing, and of strength. When you burn the bay leaf, something extraordinary happens. The fire does not only consume the leaf itself, it activates the very essence that it carries. The smoke that rises is like a messenger. It carries your thoughts, your desires, your prayers into the unseen. That is why so many traditions across the world used smoke in their rituals. Because smoke rises where the human hand cannot reach. It moves beyond what the eye can see and penetrates into realms that respond to intention and energy. When your heart is clear and your mind is focused, the bay leaf becomes the channel that connects your inner world to the greater forces around you. There is also a unique quality to the fragrance of a burning bay leaf. It purifies the air, but more importantly, it shifts the energy of the space. If you are sensitive enough, you can feel the atmosphere change. A heaviness lifts, a subtle calm replaces it. This is not imagination. It is the natural power of plants that were designed to work with both the body and the spirit. And when used in a moment of silence, such as midnight, that purification expands beyond the room and begins to cleanse the chains that surround your life. Think of the bay leaf as both a symbol and a tool. On the surface, you hold a simple leaf in your hand, But in truth, you are holding a piece of nature that has carried the wisdom of generations. You are holding something that has been trusted by those who walked before us to bring clarity, to cut away negativity, and to anchor protection around them. The act of burning it is not about superstition. It is about alignment with a force that has already proven its power time and time again. So when you burn a bay leaf, do not take it lightly. Do not see it as a leaf turning to ash. See it as a powerful moment where your intentions are sealed in fire, lifted through smoke, and received by a universe that is always listening. And in that instant, you are no longer just performing a ritual. You are declaring victory over every shadow that once tried to stand in your way. Many people walk through life unaware that the weight they carry is not always their own. There are words spoken against them, energies projected toward them, and envy that settles like dust on their path. These unseen forces often manifest as obstacles, repeated failures, or invisible chains that hold them back no matter how hard they try. It is not always because of a lack of effort or ability. It is because of burdens that were never theirs to begin with. These are the curses, the shadows of negativity, and the lingering effects of destructive intentions that others may have cast, sometimes knowingly, sometimes unconsciously. When you burn the bay leaf with intention, you are not just watching a flame consume a piece of nature. You are creating an act of release. Every chain that was bound to you through words, thoughts, or unseen energies begins to dissolve in the fire. Fire is not passive, it transforms. It does not just take what you give it, it changes its form entirely. That is why burning the leaf becomes such a powerful symbol of breaking curses. You are giving the flame every invisible weight you can no longer carry, and you are watching it turn to smoke, disappear, and lose all power over you. There is something deeply empowering about this act. For many, curses create fear. They believe they are trapped, bound by something they cannot fight against. But in this ritual, fear is replaced with mastery. The fire becomes your ally, the leaf your offering, and your intention the sword that cuts through every invisible knot. The smoke rising is not only carrying your release upward, it is declaring that nothing spoken against you, nothing plotted in darkness, has authority over the one who chooses to rise in light. Think of the chains that people often feel in their lives. Relationships that suffocate them, opportunities that vanish at the last moment, a heaviness that lingers no matter how much they try to stay positive. These are not always random events. Sometimes they are the visible expression of invisible bonds. But when the leaf burns, those bonds lose their grip. The act itself is simple, but the meaning is profound. You are no longer agreeing to carry what was never yours. You are breaking the contract, shattering the curse, and reclaiming your freedom. And it is important to feel this as you watch the flame. To not simply see fire consuming a leaf, but to see the fire consuming every invisible word, every hidden intention, every chain that tried to hold you. You are watching your own liberation unfold before your eyes. And in that moment, you know with certainty that curses cannot remain, chains cannot bind, and shadows cannot withstand the light of your awakened spirit. Witchcraft in its essence is not as mysterious as many imagine. At its core, it is an attempt to manipulate energy, to bend the natural flow of life using intention, symbols, and sometimes fear. But here is the truth most people forget. Witchcraft has no real power over a mind that refuses to surrender to it. It thrives only where fear creates cracks, where doubt opens doors, and where the spirit has forgotten its strength. When you allow yourself to live in fear of what others may be doing in secret, you unknowingly hand over your own energy. You give them the very fuel they need to keep you bound. The act of burning a bay leaf is not just about breaking curses. It is about reclaiming that energy. It is a declaration that you are no longer feeding the shadows with your fear. The flame becomes a symbol of sovereignty, a reminder that no external force has authority unless you give it permission. In this way, the ritual transforms from being about protection into being about empowerment. You are not hiding from witchcraft, you are facing it directly and saying, "You have no place here." Think of how witchcraft operates. It relies on unseen threads, on negative energy attaching itself to your thoughts and emotions. But when you hold the bay leaf with clear intention, and when you burn it in the silence of midnight, you cut those threads one by one. The smoke that rises acts as a shield, cleansing the space around you and fortifying your inner world. Where there was fear, now there is calm. Where there was weakness, now there is strength. The bay leaf, in its simplicity, becomes a tool that reminds you of something deeper. The true battlefield is within. Once you master your own energy, no external force can touch you. There are people who spend their lives worrying about what others may be sending toward them. But worry itself is the trap. It drains vitality, closes doors, and keeps them chained. Yet when you step into this practice with full awareness, you see how quickly that worry evaporates. You realize that witchcraft is powerless in front of someone who knows how to stand firm, someone who chooses to rise above fear. The bay leaf does not just burn. It transforms you into someone who no longer bends under pressure, someone who no longer absorbs poison that was never theirs to drink. So as the leaf turns to ash, let it remind you that every shadow feeding on your energy has just lost its grip. The fear that once gave it power is gone, and in its place stands clarity, strength, and unshakable freedom. And with that freedom, you finally remember that no darkness can control the one who has awakened to their own light. Abundance is not something that comes from the outside first, it begins within. Many believe that wealth or opportunity is purely material, but in truth, abundance is a state of alignment. It is the natural flow of life when the blockages of fear, doubt, and negativity have been cleared. Poverty, on the other hand, is not only about empty pockets. It often starts as a mindset, a belief that there is not enough, a constant expectation of lack. This mindset becomes a magnet, pulling in experiences that mirror it. When curses, negativity, or witchcraft weigh on a person, they feed this belief of limitation. They create an invisible ceiling where blessings cannot fully enter. The act of burning a bay leaf is symbolic of tearing down that ceiling. You are not simply asking for abundance, you are making space for it. Imagine your life as a room filled with clutter. If every corner is taken by old, heavy objects, there is no room for anything new to arrive. The same is true for the spirit. When the chains of curses and the heaviness of negativity are burned away, the room of your life becomes clear. Suddenly, space is created for health, opportunity, wealth, and joy to move in. Fire has always been a purifier. And when the bay leaf burns, you are declaring to the universe that the time of scarcity is over. You are saying, I release lack, and I welcome abundance. The smoke carries that message upward, and it also clears the energetic field around you so that new doors can open. What once felt blocked begins to shift. Relationships align, opportunities appear, and even the way you see yourself changes. This is because abundance is not just about what comes into your life. It is about what flows out of you as well. A mind and spirit aligned with abundance think differently, speak differently, act differently. When you perform this ritual, do not only focus on material wealth. Think of abundance in every form. Peace that cannot be shaken, health that strengthens you daily, relationships that uplift, wisdom that guides you, and opportunities that lead to growth. The bay leaf becomes a seed planted in the fire, and from its ashes rises a reminder that your life is designed for more than just survival. You are meant to thrive, to flourish, and to live in the fullness of what existence has to offer. It is important to remember that the universe responds not only to your actions, but to the energy behind them. If you burn the leaf with doubt, you remain in doubt. But if you burn it with certainty, knowing you are worthy of receiving, then the shift begins immediately. The space has been cleared, the chains have been broken, and the doorway to abundance stands open before you. And in that moment, you realize that lack was never stronger than you. It was only waiting for you to release it. A ritual in itself is just an action. Fire consuming a leaf, smoke filling the air, these are movements of nature. But the true force behind it all comes from the one who performs it. Without belief, without presence, the flame is only fire and the leaf is only ash. It is the intention that awakens the power, the presence of the mind that gives meaning to the act. When you stand fully in the moment, when your heart is aligned with your thoughts and your thoughts with your actions, then the ritual becomes more than symbolism, it becomes transformation. Many people go through practices mechanically, hoping the act alone will shift their lives. They light candles, they burn herbs, they repeat words, but their mind is scattered, their belief is weak, and their heart is half closed. This is why results often seem absent, because the universe does not respond to empty gestures. It responds to the clarity and conviction behind them. When your entire being is engaged, even the smallest action can carry immense power. A whispered word with belief can echo louder than 1,000 shouts without it. A single leaf burned with presence can break chains that years of fear could not dissolve. Belief is not blind faith. It is the recognition that your energy shapes the outcome. It is the quiet knowing that you are not just hoping for change, you are creating it. Presence, on the other hand, is the discipline of giving your full attention to the moment. When you watch the flame consume the leaf, you are not distracted by what happened yesterday or what may come tomorrow. You are here, now, witnessing transformation in real time. And when you connect belief with presence, you anchor yourself in the very center of power. Think of it this way: without belief, you are like a ship with no sail. You may move, but not with direction. Without presence, you are like a ship with no anchor, easily carried away by every current of distraction. But when belief and presence come together, you are both anchored and directed. The ritual becomes not only an act of release, but an act of creation. You are releasing the past while simultaneously creating the future you desire. This is why burning the bay leaf at midnight carries such depth. It is not only about the hour or the herb or the fire. It is about the spirit that chooses to be awake when the world is asleep. It is about the mind that chooses to focus when distractions are absent. It is about the heart that dares to believe when everything around it once tried to whisper doubt. And in that sacred alignment, you realize the truth. The leaf is only the mirror, the fire only the messenger. The real power has always been within you, waiting for the moment you chose to believe and to be fully present.